Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to our webinar for research documentation, ELNs, elabFTW as a fair enabler. My name is Alexander Badl and I'm a data steward and RDM officer at Graz University of Technology. And I today will guide you through this webinar. What do we cover today? So the first thing, we will have a short motivation why we want to do this. So proper documentation is the thing we want to deal today. And in connection with this is our institution laboratory notebook, or short ELN, called elabFTW. In the first part, we will also see how the tool looks like and feels like from the perspective of a user. And in the second part, we will see how it feels like from the look of a team admin of one of the teams in elabFTW. Towards the end, we will have also one slide about topics of interest, which are more for the team admins, but I think it's a topic that should be interesting for each and everyone who wants to use electronic laboratory notebooks and of course also elabFTW. So fair principles, that is more or less the principle that will guide us through research data management itself, but especially here. Findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. These are principles that are of interest for us, for our data, and especially for our metadata today. And here are just a few examples which are in connection with findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. For example, rich metadata is something that will be of interest for us, especially when it comes to lab notebooks or electronic lab notebooks. Then authentication of a user, of a person, also that the availability of metadata. Then also the connection of different kinds of metadata and entries that are linked to each other, but also the provenance. So where does our data or our metadata originates from? So each and every aspect of this FAIR principle can also be somehow connected to the use of ELNs and also to the use of metadata. Yeah, I mentioned it a couple of times. So proper documentation is our motivation, and you cannot mention this without to mention metadata, and metadata is data about data. And they come in all shapes and sizes. So everything you can imagine that would describe the actual data that you are generating, however you generate it. And all of these things have to be a proper description, and you also have to document this description somewhere. And this can be maybe just the design of your experiment or your simulation. It can be what you actually want to what you actually want to do. How is the server method? So actually, it doesn't matter, but it can be a wide variety of things you want to document somewhere. And for that, you need metadata, so data that describes your data. And it is really crucial to have this metadata in a proper documentation available, because without it, your data is useless at some point, because without the description, it is not clear what you actually did. And another very important fact is that time is not our friend in this case. So over the time, information gets lost without the proper documentation. Even now, if you know everything about your data, over time, this will decay, and yeah, there will be no further description of the data that you have. Archiving, publication of the actual data without a proper description is possible, but again, useless to some extent, because most of the data that you publish is not self-explaining, or even if it's for you, it's not for others. So you need some kind of documentation for it. It is also essential when you want to facilitate data exchange. I think each and everyone experienced this before. So without something that explains what actually describes this or that data set, or how it was produced, it's in most cases, it's not really easy to reuse it or just further use it. Also, when you want to go in the direction of machine processing, machine learning, automation, having the ability to search for things, also this is very important to structure your data, give it appropriate metadata, and then you can go in this direction as well. Unfortunately, this can be a repetitive activity. So it can be burdensome, but it is also something that is also the source of numerous data, and often something that is really the base to build upon. Especially, and I want to highlight this here, when you want to go in the way of machine learning or machine processability of data. If you're in a transition phase or you want to move something in this direction, you have to think about initial effort you have to put into. So this is not an easy transition, but it will make your future work much more easier. But you have to be prepared. There will be some initial work needed at the beginning to have this transition. There's also a really nice figure which explains the information content of data and especially metadata that will decay over time. There will be maybe some specific events in the future that will accelerate this decay. But even if this not happens, you will have this natural decay of some events that will definitely happen. And so it is always a good idea to have some proper documentation available. Besides handwritten documentation, there's also already automatically captured metadata, especially from measurements or simulations. So on the left side, you can see a metadata sheet from a Borer logging probe, where you can see that all of the relevant metadata is already there. So there's nothing that has to be handwritten. On the right side, you see also simulation from a transit simulation, where you have the actual concept of the simulation itself. Somewhere you have all of the variables which were used for it. And also cameras, for example, have a lot of metadata written in their files. So these are all things that are actually available for you. And sometimes you have to be also the possibility to configure this stuff as well. And sometimes you have to trigger it by yourself. So like in these cases, it's already available. Sometimes you have to configure things and then actively trigger it to get it. But it doesn't matter. In all of these cases, it has to be somewhere stored. And it is always a good idea to have these simulations, this measurement information, all of this metadata in some kind of information hub stored, which enables you later to proper document and explain the actual data that came out of all of these efforts. And electronic laboratory notebooks can be one enabler of this fair documentation. So there are also other possibilities out there, but ELNs can be one of it. And like with the variety of different kind of metadata formats, we also have a variety of ELNs available out there. So we have like sample.db or Synode, RSpace, Lab Folder, ChemNotion, elabJournal, and elabFTW. And this is so the big ones, I would say, but there are much more out there which you can be used. Some are open source, some are closed source. And all of them come with their pros and cons, depending on the situation, more discipline specific, the other more generic. So it always depends what you want and also about the resources you have available. Today, we will focus on elabFTW because elabFTW is the institutional electronic laboratory notebook of the Graz University of Technology. So the main idea behind elabFTW is that our documentation increases reproducibility and also gives us a better insight towards our data for us and for others as well. The main purpose of it is, of course, taking notes, and this is equal to generating metadata, but also to a certain extent store data and metadata, and also to have some kind of basic organization or lab organization for our group or institute, for example. It is also intended to be a replacement of paper report and notebooks because they have also some disadvantages, but of course advantages as well. And it gives you the ability to search upon different entries that you have in your ELN, also to simplify the grouping of different kind of data and entries, and also to have a backup automatically in the background, so you don't have to care that your data or metadata, especially metadata here, is safe. And the last point I really want to highlight, because it's also intended for collaboration. So you could use it just for your own purposes. You have to deal with no one, but the idea behind is to have a good collaboration platform. It's good not to think about things like a Google Docs or an Excel or something like that. It has another form of collaboration, but it fosters this collaboration also to share easily information with your colleagues and your peers. And the URL you can find our institutional elabFTW is elabFTW.thugraz.at. And as long as you are a member of TU Graz, you have also TU Graz credentials. And with that, you can just use the SSO and log into the tool itself. So you could do this right now if you want, actually. But of course, if you want to work in a group, you have to be in contact with us first. Today, I want to show you a little bit more about our institutional ENN, and I want to do this with a webinar example, which is called Bacteria versus Antibiotics Test Series. So we have kind of test scenario where we want to highlight want to show different functionalities of the tool itself and how it can be used. We have this is not really a scientific content, so it's just more as a common example to get an overview about the tool itself and just one idea how it can be used. Besides that, it can also be used in the context of organization and management. For example, I'm not a researcher by myself because I'm research support staff, but I use it for the documentation of my daily work. I also want to increase this in future. So the company behind elabFTW, for example, DeltaPlot, they use it for all of their documentation and stuff as well. So there is a wide variety of options how to use the tool. The actual goal of today is to give you an overview, an impression, and also how it supports the fair documentation process. I mentioned it at the beginning. We will cover this from two experiences. First from a user perspective, and then also from a team administrator perspective. And with that, I will switch to the actual system. And as you can see, ELAB is a web-based application, so you can reach it by the URL I mentioned before. And right now logged in. So this is the first thing you see after the login page. I'm logged in as the user Max, which is a dummy test user for our case. Yeah, if there are questions during this presentation, feel free to ask it in the chat. We will cover this towards the end of the presentation. Yes. So I'm now a new user to the tool. I never used it before. I was asked from my group lead for our antibiotica versus Escherichia coli test series to use this new tool. And from our group meeting, I already know that our team lead got us into this team. He was in contact with the sysadmin of the tool and got this team for us, and he already put some information into this tool. So these are these things I can already see here in this dashboard. I can see that there are already some resources for me available. I see there are no experiments available, which means there is nothing I can see now. Maybe I'm the first one. But the first thing I was asked to do to get a little bit familiar with the tool itself. And so I will check this area here where I can see my icon. Maybe I will increase the screen size a little bit. So I hope that's now easier to see here. I can see I'm logged in this TU Graz training group. So in this case, I will have created a team for training purposes. And I want to see what is available for me. I can see my profile. I'm curious, so I want to see what is available here. Okay, I'm just a member of one team. No statistics yet, nothing for me right now. Attachments, import, export. So I have no attachments, nothing I uploaded. I could import something, but I have nothing to import right now. And I could also export things I created, but right now there's nothing I could export. So I will do this later. Then the first thing is a to-do list. Oh, pretty nice. So I have to call back a colleague. So I will do this later. And this to-do list is just for taking really short notes. If I would save this here, then this will disappear, so it's not stored. But it's if I have a thing I want to put on a to-do list, I can do it here as well. So what is there else? So import, export already there. Settings. And then settings, I can see I can change different things which are just valid for me, of course, like the language. I will stick to English, but I could also use Dutch or maybe French or German, and I will stick to English. I can also display certain things, have some shortcuts, configure how the PDFs that are generated looks like, and also some other things that can be done, like which things are first displayed on the screen, or do I just want to write in Markdown and not in a rich data editor, for example. Also about my account, but this is managed by our research support staff, the templates that are available, API keys. So if I want to work with this tool also from the console and not via the web interface, I can do this as well. This also is a really nice thing if I'm thinking about automation certain tasks, like automatically generated entries here. And I can also configure how much notifications I want to have. So maybe I just want new comments. I think it's necessary not to have this via email. No thanks, just in the web interface. Okay, so what's next? Nothing here for me as well. Okay, then I will check the resources because I already saw there was something available for me. And I can see here that my group lead already generated some stuff here. I can see something called project, which is a category of a resource. So all of these things that are in this resource section are somehow connected to one category. In this case, I have a project. I have bacteria, obviously. So they have all highlighted this category bacteria, and I have also some antibiotics here as well, and something that is called a tool. So I think I will use this incubator for my test series. But first I will check out this project. And I can see, okay, this project was created by Alexander Badl. Yeah, he's my group leader. And he created this in the TU Graz training team. So this is the team I'm currently in. It's connected to the category project. This is not the status, okay, and some tags. I was told that the tags actually work like also classification. So we do not have a folder structure here like we used on our desktop, but we work with tags. So all of our entries should have useful and meaningful tags, which are then used to, if I'm clicking in one of these tags on the outside on the dashboard, for example, and overview, I just get entries that do have these tags. So I can, if I search for a certain tag, then I will just get entries who are in connection with that. And I can have also a more advanced search why I can connect certain text. So I will just get the things I'm really interested in. Then I can see that the visibility and can write. So I am a member of the team, so I have the right to see this entry, obviously, but I'm not an admin, and I'm also not the owner, so I'm not able to write anything here. So I can see just in the main text project title, so our test series, the duration, March from June. We have a budget of 250,000 euros. Lead has to Graz. So maybe we have some attendees from other universities as well. I don't know. Should have paid more attention in the group meeting. And I have also a really short description what we want to do here. So I have also already some linked resources here. So things that I think we will use it in this test series, like this bacteria and antibiotics, and also this incubator. And I want to see which tool I want to use. So I click on this plus button. And now I can see, okay, this is the thing we want to use here. There's also a data sheet available. Do a right click. Okay, so if I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with this thing, but with this manual, I think I will handle it somehow to use this stuff as well. And I can also see that under resources, I think I will decide to use this amoxicillin and maybe this was bacteria here as well. So this was also one of the resources that was available in the overview, but via these resources, I can also just directly go to things that were linked to this resource. So we have metadata here directly connected to each other. So I can also check here, also was designed by my group leader. I can see the status of this one. This antibiotics is in use, good. Again, I cannot change here anything. So it seems like it's more for me as information that I have a description, how it looks like, also the molecular side. I get also some information in these extra fields, which is additional metadata information, which is connected to this kind of amoxicillin, like the CIS number, if it's poisonous, CMM Frederick. So all of these things were explicitly mentioned from my feed. And also the attached file. So this is the image that is displayed here is there. And here I could also go back to my project again if I want, if I have some information. The other one thing I want to use is this Escherichia coli BL21 DE3. It's like a similar overview, also some extra information, the risk group, GMO, additional notes, none, but I have a nice picture here. I don't think that it's actually this type, but yeah, so that I have a better impression of what I'm dealing here actually. Yeah, okay, nice. So the next thing I want to do, now I have an overview about the resources. I think I will go back and check the resources again. Okay, I could also open this here as well and don't have to open this this entry directly if I want to. I can also have it in a nice overview if I want to see it quicker. I also could see, okay, do I have some entry that was created by myself? No, just the team thing. Okay, then let's stick to the team. I could also apply some filters like from the owner, but everything that was created right now was created by Alexander Badl. Also the visibility settings, and I can do also sort things like which is the oldest or newest one if I want to. Okay, so before I start with my experiments, I will check this team button too, because I'm curious what's behind it. Okay, there is a scheduler, so I maybe will have to use this later because as I was told, this incubator, we just have one of them. And so we have to split it. So also the members that are available on my team. Okay, nice. So I can get an overview. Then the email. So I could also send directly some information to my team. And procurement requests. I don't think we will use this today, but if we run out of something, I could also make a preview and request and say we need more amoxicillin, for example. Okay, but let's go back to the experiments, because this is where the magic happens. And I was told in the group meeting that we want to have this documentation more or less in the same structure. So we have to start with a template, and I'm really happy that I don't have to create this template by myself, but we already have a template, and this is available for me, so I can check in the template section here. And if this pin is not highlighted, then it wouldn't be available for me, but I will highlight this here. So now this template is available for me, and I could also check out how this template actually looks like. Okay, nice, but I will go back to the experiment and start directly with the template. So I want to create a new one for my test series. So I could create on this button, but I will click on the arrow and I can see the available templates for me here. So the bacteria sensitivity or resistance template, click on this one, and I can see, okay, now I have a new entry here in the editing view. So the first thing I want to do, I will change the title because it's not a template anymore. So I will add my name here as well, so that I can see it from the title which thing has changed. Wouldn't be necessary, but I want to have it easily to see which one is mine. So then I have plenty of options here available, but I maybe will just focus on the things that are important for me right now. So I want to start with this thing tomorrow, because today I will have to do some research first. So I will do this here. I have categories here available for me, but I have an experiment, so I will stick with the thing that was already mentioned in the template. I can also say onto the statuses, I will start tomorrow, but I can actually put it on running. I can also maybe want to add a certain tag. Think it's not necessary to do it right now. I could do it anytime, so maybe I will do this later. And I have the visibility and write options here, and now I can change things here as well. So maybe I have a closer look here. Right now, only members and of this team can see my entry, and I think I will stick to that. I could change it to everyone, including anonymous users. I was told by the sysadmin that this option is not really available here. It's here, but it's not really available. So if you click on it, it won't work actually. Everyone with an account, which means that also people outside of my team, so the other teams that are available on our instance, would see this entry. It's not necessary for them, so I could stick to it. And I could also change it to just me or me and all of my fellow admins of the team. As you can see, there are also plenty of other teams available in our instance. So I could say, I don't want all of these other teams. I will just say a specific team. I could just choose it here. I could also say some groups, and groups are more like parts of a specific team. And these are also selected here, but I have the scope button here as well. If I just selected my team, I could see there are two more groups in my team available, but I don't want to use them. I could also select a group that I'm part of, but unfortunately, I'm not part of any group right now. And if this is not enough, I could also add a certain user that is part of our instance. So then this entry would be available for my colleagues and maybe just one fellow colleague who is part of another team. And just for this one series, I want to include him. But no, I don't want to do this. And what is important here, that this setting, the base setting, is always present. It doesn't matter what I do here. If I do not choose anything here, it's fine, but this one will always be present. And if I want to choose an option here, here, or here, then it will be a combination of the base settings and also with the things I selected here as well. The same thing is also applies for the right option. You can see it's the same editor. So the rules are the same here as well. The only difference is here I just select who has the possibility to see things, but is not allowed to change things. And here I can also say who is allowed to change things as well. Okay, so now this is clear for me. I will stick to that because I want that my admins have the possibility to change things. I don't know why, maybe because I'm on holiday, but yeah, it's important to see, and because it's a test series for our group, it's a good thing that all of my colleagues can see my current test series. Okay, you can see this is the rich text editor, so it has some similarity that from things you already know from maybe only Office or the classical Word, Microsoft Word. And I already have some information here included from the template, so I can have, again, the purpose of this experiment. I can see the experimental procedure, so the things that I expected from my side to do in this test series. I can also maybe add something because maybe I need an additional step number 8. It's maybe like I don't know what I want to do in an 8th step. Maybe a discussion with my colleagues. So I will just do this here as well. And I want this. And I don't want to highlight this here, something like that. I could also insert here a table if I want to. So I have plenty of options available, images, media, timestamping, code examples if necessary, maybe for some kind of analysis, a table for something. Yeah, also if this is necessary, formatting stuff here as well, tools like this. Also for the table, there are some kind of basic functions available. As you can see, plenty of options available, which are what I want to do if I want to do it. Yeah, then I have also some kind of materials needed here. So as explained, I need one antibiotic, I need one E. coli strain. I actually decided to use amoxicillin and the E. coli L21. Then also some things I think I will find in our lab. Then this incubator, which is already found, some sterile dishes, and also measuring pipettes. Okay. Then, yeah, for the time, I will just save the things that I have changed here as well. As you can see, I changed not much right now. Then I'm asked to decide on the bacteria and the antibiotic I want to choose. The bacteria was this one, okay. So I will find it here. Yeah. Yeah. This one. Okay, and I want the antibiotic, and this was amoxicillin, yes, perfect. And also the concentration. I will use a concentration of 1 microgram per milliliter. Okay. I could also add an additional extra field if I want to. So there are different kind of text fields available, like a drop-down menu, radio button, date, time, email. So plenty of stuff if I want this to do. Also give it a description if I want. If it's necessary or not, or read only. I don't want to add here something, but I could if I think it's necessary for my experiment. Then I have certain steps here as well, which I can, yeah, mark or unmark. If I unmark it, I also get some kind of information that this will trigger change. I can also say I have to start with the preparation of culture, so I may make here an additional point and say to do. Now I have my cursor inserted here. I go back here and say copy the step into my cursor position, and I can see here as L next what is also next for me. So just as a reminder. And if necessary, I could also add a deadline, but I think it's not necessary to do this. I could do it, but yeah, I don't want to do it right now. So yeah, then I've also already some linked resources here. From the template, I already have our project linked and also this tool. So I'm really expected to use this tool. Okay. And also the two additional resources I already put here as well are now also in the linked resources part. So they were not here before, but because of the things I used there, now amoxicillin and Escherichia coli BL21 are now here also in my relinked resources part. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, because I know that I will have to use the incubator, I want to have a slot for it. So I will just click on this incubator. So now I jump to the resources incubator and I want to book it in the scheduler we saw before via the team tab. So I click on this button. And this button is just available if if the admins decided, or the people who are responsible for the item, to make it a bookable thing. So a resource don't has to be resourceable, but bookable, but in this case it is. And because I said I will start on Friday, I guess I will need it next week. So I will there. So I want to book it from maybe a little longer, say measurement cycle 1, save. And I think I needed a little longer, maybe to 4. Okay. And I don't, yeah, I will bind it to my experiment, of course. Attach. So now this specific booking is bind also to my experiment. If I made some mistakes, I could also just cancel this booking here. But if I want to make others aware that this incubator is now available for them, I can also send a custom message and select who should get this, and then send a message and cancel. So this can be pretty handy if you make others available. So on short notice, I'm not able to use it. So maybe some of you have time to use this as well. Okay, so I did this as well, and now I could start with my training. Because I do not have much time today with that, I will check out if there's anything else for me. And I saw that this template was pretty interesting, so maybe I will just make also one for myself, so I can see this template here. And maybe I will want this use also in future. So I think I will just duplicate this template. I think there were no files attached. No? Okay. So I will just duplicate it. And then I would have also a template for myself. I will call it template max. I will use this for measurement reasons later. Maybe I will change some things. Now I have full control over this new template. I can see it in view mode, how this template will look like. And if I go back to the template section, I will also see how it looks like. Okay. What is maybe also of interest for me that I will, if I check out the to-do list, I can see also all of the unfinished experiment steps that are in connection with this one experiment that I have. And if we jump into the future, maybe I did also some things, I could also mark this here as well. And now also these steps would be marked in my experiment as well. Okay, that's it from the user side. There are plenty more things I could see today, but we do not have enough time for that. So the other thing I want to do is to show you this also from the team admin side. So from the side, the person who created it. And for that, I will just switch things here. So I will stop sharing for a moment. So I just need 2 minutes, maybe not 2 minutes. So you can use this time to write down some questions for later. So where's the other account? So the thing I want to do now is to log in as another user. And my other user is called Sarah. And now I will again share my screen. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen again. Yeah, so I'm now logged in as Sarah, and Sarah is a team admin. So she has the rights to do a little bit more than our user Max before. And she asked the sysadmin for a new team because she wants to do this bacteria versus antibiotics test series. And she already has some experience with the elabFTW and has some files available. Right now, she has a blank team. There's nothing there. There are no experiments, no resources. I can go into this and see it. No experiments, no resources. I go to the team tabs, no scheduler because there's no item available that could be booked. She's alone in the team, so a little bit sad, but it's a fresh start. This is a fresh start. Okay, and because she has already some experience and some files available that she had from another ELAB instance, it's possible for her to have a really quick start because it was possible for her to download certain entries you saw before in the resources section in the format called .eln. And with the format .eln, you can also import it again and have most of the information you had there already available, like a quick start. And that is what she wants to do. But the first thing, because she's new as admin, she wants to get also familiar with the new options she has. So she goes again here, and you can see now that she has one option more, and this is the admin panel. And when she's clicking on it, then we have an overview about our team. So we can give also some announcement in the team. We could also configure this documentation here to a new URL. We can do with divisions. We can have set default templates for experiments. We could create user groups. These were the third part in these permission settings before. So we do not have a user group here, but we could create one. I can see users. I can search for all of the users that are now available in the team. And right now, Sarah is the only one. We could have also categories. We could have statuses, the default statuses. We could export stuff here. We could configure our tags we saw before, and we could also do some batch action, for example. Yeah. So we don't want to actually do anything right here right now. We just want to import our resources. So we want to have a quick start here. So the first thing that we want to do, we want to have these resources that we had in our example also in this team. And for that, we click here on the import from file button. And now we are asked to select an ELN archive file or a CSV file. And I also have one available here. So I have to browse for my file. So where's my file? Oh, there's not. And I want to use this one. Yes. And with selecting the right file, I'm now asked what I want to import in the team. I can just choose, let the tool choose. So I can say, do not force the type. I could do it here, but I think I will trust the tool because I want the same information in the same content area, so in the resources area again. So I will not force a category. I want that Sarah is, in my case, I'm Sarah, is the owner of these entries. And I could also select the permissions for all of the things I want to import. In this case, only members of the team should the permissions to see it. That's fine. And that just myself and the other admins are available for set the writing permissions, fine as well. So I click on importing. I have to wait a little bit. It depends on the file size, so how much things you want to import. And now I go back to the resources. And now I can see all of the things are now available for me. So the project, the incubator, the antibiotics, the bacteria, everything is here now. And I can check this out, and I can see, okay, there are different information here available. Like now, it's pretty much the same like before, because it was downloaded as a set of entries. They are still connected to each other. So still, I can go there and experience all of these entries. And those entries look like the same like we had before, but we are now in another team with this imported information. So it's not the same items. And this unique elab ID would be different for these two entries, even if all of this information displayed here is the same. But as you already can see, the team is the AG Sarah training team. It's not the RDM training team like before. So I have now all of my resources for my fellow colleagues available, but I need also the template because I want the same documentation for each and every experiment my team members will have. So I also have to create a new a template for them as well. And for that, I will jump to the template section. And right now there's nothing. But also for the templates, it's possible to do this via an import. And now I will click on the import again, click select, and I have another ELN another .eln file that was just for the import. You can see it's pretty much the same. I mean, it is the same. I can also decide who is again the owner. I could also give to someone else, but my team just right now it's just me. I can see who has the rights to see the template. This is very important because if my fellow team members have not the right to see the entry, no one of them can use the template. But still, the template itself, I just want myself and other admins to be here to write it, so make changes to the actual template. So I will again import it. Okay, this was pretty small, so it's already there. If I go now to my template section, I can see the template is there. I could now make also some changes if I want, because I'm the owner. I want to do this right now, but I can go back. And yeah, so it would be ready. No, it's not ready because yeah, I have no bookable items, but you saw before that the scheduler displayed the incubator. So what changed? So as I mentioned, not everything was transferred. So some things has to be changed. And in this case, the incubator, I have to go there, and this booking option is not by default set. So as an admin and owner of this tool, I have to do this first. So I'm now in the incubator. I have these 3 dots on the side, and there I have some additional things like transferring ownership, seeing changes to this item, modify these procurement requests if I need it. And what is interesting, I want to have this booking parameter selected, and now I want to allow booking this resource. I have some additional settings here as well, but let's focus on this. And now if I go back to the team section, now I can see I have the incubator available for me for booking options. So I have to do this. Other thing I have to change as well, I imported these resources. I also imported the resource type, which was not available before that. But you have to think about the resource type, the category here, like a template for resource items. So just it's really like a template for resource items. And if I want to create maybe a new bacteria or a new antibiotic or a new project, I can select it here. And this is more like I want that I choose a template for a new resource type, like I choose a template for an experiment. So they're different. And these templates for resource types are just available via the admin panel. And with the input of the resources, I also created new categories. So they're now available here, but these categories are now empty. So if I go inside, I have to also just give this template a proper information and description. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's not as possible to export the template for the categories. I hope this will be possible in the future. Right now, it's not possible, but the category is there. Maybe I have this information somewhere stored elsewhere, then I can do this in the setup phase of my team and make it available for them. And yeah, this is something I have to think about. So creating a new team takes some initial effort. If I do not have templates available, of course, it will take me some more effort as well. But this was it more or less to set up the team and to start depending upon the information you already have. And now I'm also able to, let's go back to the admin, also to have new users in my team. And I want to, I could search for users or search for team members, for new team members in the instance. So I can go to all of the teams that I have available, and I want to include someone new in my team. And now I want to include him to my team. And if I check now our user section, so the teams that are just available in our team. Okay, maybe I just go here. It's easier to see. In our members section, I can see now that I'm not longer alone in my team. So I'm here, and I also inserted Alexander here as well. And it's now possible to send also a message to Alexander. And send this email to him. So because maybe we have some onboarding workshop tomorrow, and if I now can check my inbox, okay, I already got the information, and you can see I got some information sent via the elab tool from Sarah. Tomorrow workshop sent by Sarah Training. Yeah, that's it for the admin part here. There are also more things to cover for users and for admins, but this can be done in another workshop. So what's more? Topics of interest. I mentioned this at the beginning. So there are few things you have to think about if you want to use the tool, especially if you are team admins, because you have more responsibilities if you are team admin. Onboarding and offboarding of new employees and students are a really important topic when it comes to the use of electronic laboratory notebook. Even if you handle the printed one, it's always good to give some information how you want to have the documentation. And I think this always is true. Doesn't matter if it's a paper-based one or a digital one. But here as well, you have more things you have to think of, especially this permission part, or how to properly use tags, how we want to use our tool. It's a sandbox. It's up to you how to use it. So you have to come up with an idea. There is material out there which can guide you through this process, but of course, it's as a team admin, you are responsible for your team. So you have to think how you want to use it. There are options in the tool itself, which we did not cover today. You can use also some kind of policies which adjust regulations and rules that you set up for your team, and also workshops, maybe together with the RDM team, maybe with me together, can be organized where you can have some kind of starting workshop with your team. Also offboarding at some point point people will leave your team for some reasons. There are contractual terms what to do with the things you have in your team. Is it allowed to use this information? Are the people allowed to export them? What we want to do with the users who are leaving, archiving, deleting. Is this just valid for user, or can we also archive or delete some entries? Things you have to think of. Then also backup. I mentioned before that because it's an institutional solution, backup is managed by TU Graz. So the instance itself is backed, but it is also always a good idea to have some backup of your data that you have there, of your entries from time to time on an additional device. There can always be some disasters. And if you have something that is really crucial, really important from time to time, it's always a good idea also to have the most important parts stored somewhere else. It's just something I want to mention. So there are some self-responsibility here as well. And when it comes to the sharing of information, we have always differentiate between copying entries, similar to the things I did right now with uploading the information. We can also copy resources, we can copy experiment entries, we can copy templates versus sharing. So there are different situations where copying is appropriate and where sharing is more appropriate. Also, there are times when adding a user to a team is the better option, and there are sometimes where it's easier to just add a member to a group and not to a team. Why do I mention this? Because you can add any member of this instance to a group, and this group is located in your team. So you could share specific information in your team, just one member of this group, but just for this one purpose. And you don't want this person in your group at all. So it is a way of make it easier to share certain informations to a group of people. So it's more like, let's say, a fifth option or fourth option in these permission settings, which is then available for you. And there is no just one case where you can say, okay, the group option is always the right one. No, there are different situations, and depending on the situations, it is better to choose one or the other. This is not always clear, but again, our team and we are here also to answer this question if you have them. So if you start with them, you're not sure, you need something, always reach out to us doing that. And before we start with the questions, I want to also mention that we have an upcoming internal training in the internal training program of TU Graz called Electronic Laboratory Notebooks and Cyrus at the 23rd of April from 8 to 1, limited to 18 participants, and you can register until the 9th of April. And there we'll go in more depth towards elabFTW and Cyrus. So we will cover things from today, but you will experience this by yourself, and you will have the possibility to ask more questions explicitly. And we will also highlight some aspects that we left out today. Okay, that was it from my side. And I'm happy to answer any questions now.